The world is full of dangerous things, and I'm not just talking about people. There are stories that circulate the planet that have no basis in logic or science, things that simply cannot be explained. From ghosts to mysterious disappearances and even monsters. You never know what you're going to encounter. We want to see what really lurks in the shadows and where the truth lies. Hey guys, welcome to our brand new podcast, The Haunted Detective, where we go beyond your normal true crime discussions to investigate things that will make you sleep with your lights on at night. I'm your host, Kelsey Childs, but everyone calls me the paranormal Sherlock Holmes.
No one calls you that.
Everyone calls me that.
No one calls you that. She's lying. Literally, no one's ever called her that.
And with me is my good friend, confidant, and co-host, Griff, a professional skeptic.
Oh.
Griff wants to learn more and ask the right questions, so you don't have to.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
A lot of questions?
Oh, yeah. So many. You don't even know.
I'm prepared for all of them.
Okay.
I'm going to turn you into a believer.
Okay.
Is it possible to communicate with ghosts? Throughout history, we've never run out of ghost stories to tell. From the classic campfire scares to old literature, there is always one horror trope that we can count on. Even America's first ghost story included some sort of paranormal specter, the Headless Horseman.
Ah.
There has to be some basis of truth in these tall tales, right?
I mean,
Anatoly Moskvin, this is where I'm going to convince you.
Okay.
A Russian genius, scholar, and spiritualist surely thought so, which led to him committing one of this generation's most bizarre and disgusting crimes.
Like, was he Gen Z?
Oh, no.
Oh.
He's a boomer.
Oh, ooh.
Already
Okay.
starting off bad.
Starting off bad already.
It all goes back to necromancy and Anatoly's belief that death wasn't truly the end or permanent. The veil separating the living from the dead is a thin line, one that can easily be crossed with the right practice, intention, and ritual. Some people, like him, believe that they have a special ability which allows them to communicate with ghosts.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope nothing happens when you die. I don't want reincarnation. I don't want an afterlife. I want it over. I'm done. I'm tired.
So
I don't want to do it anymore.
To bring you back?
No, don't do it.
Sorry.
I don't want to be a zombie. I don't want to be resurrected. I want to be left alone.
Fair. So my question is, was Anatoly's belief system correct? Or was he suffering from a complex mental illness?
Both can be true.
All of the above. It's unclear to tell based on his claims and story, but that's what we're here to find out. Or I'm here to convince you.
You're here to convince me.
I'm going to convince you.
You apparently have already found out, and I must be convinced, so we'll see.
What are you talking about? I know nothing.
We'll see.
Police banged down the door to Anatoly's home, and what they found was truly disturbing. Anatoly Moskvin wandered the cemeteries in Nizhny Novgorod, Russia for years, before people started noticing that graves were being desecrated, but only those of children and very young adults who died in accidentally disastrous ways.
Yikes. Okay.
The locals...
Wait a second. Okay, it's Russia, so, what kind of accidents? Is this, factories? Is it just being in Russia?
I think just being in Russia
that's fair.
is disastrous in itself.
That's fair.
Not problematic at all. The locals were already suspicious and weirded out by Anatoly due to the fact that he traveled miles a day on foot, slept in the cemeteries, and drank from puddles on the ground to not only stay hydrated, but more connected to the people buried there.
That's weird.
It's very weird.
That's weird.
I don't even let my dog drink from puddles.
No. No, I don't either. That's gross.
He's got some sort of parasite.
No, for sure. Well, it's probably a parasite in his brain that made him do all this from drinking out of them damn puddles.
Listen, this is not Resident Evil. I know the new one just came out, but... So when the desecration of graves became an all too common trend, the affected locals ended up investigating further into Anatoly's path through these cemeteries. It turned out that he always left a wake of weirdness behind, from upturned dirt to grave sites that had been dug up. It took them 2 years, until 2011, to figure out what exactly was going on. Anatoly was 45 years old when 8 police officers entered...
Wait, did you say 2011?
Mm-hmm.
This happened post 9/11?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This is... We have pre 9/11 and we have post 9/11.
This happened... iPhone 5 was out.
Mm-hmm.
And this man is sipping puddles.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. This sounds like some shit like from the 1800s. Like this sounds like some fucking Dracula vampires putting bells on the coffins, and you're telling me that this man watched American Idol and did this.
Deep in the woods.
This man saw 15 seasons of Survivor and did this.
Maybe Survivor is the real issue here.
That's crazy.
So Anatoly was 45 years old when 8 police officers entered his parents' home where he lived.
He lived with his parents?
He lived with his parents.
At 45?
It gets weirder.
In Russia in 2011?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean...
This is winner behavior for sure.
Yeah, he's a real A+, 10 out of 10.
He's single? That's crazy.
Find him on Hinge, I'd match him. They found dolls that were life-sized, scattered throughout the apartment. They all adorned different clothes and attributes. All of them had cloth faces and body parts, which were painted with makeup and music boxes inside of them.
Ew.
I know. Throughout the years that Anatoly was traveling through cemeteries, he had been digging up children from their graves, mummifying them, and turning them into dolls. There were 29 in total.
I feel like there's a very liberal use of the word doll here. I wouldn't classify any of that as a doll as much as like a mummy. Also, when you said music box, is it just like a corpse with a crank in it that you turn and then it plays music, or is it like you put them in there and they're just inside?
I believe.
Are they working?
I believe that they're just inside.
Oh.
There might be a button, but due to the fact that all of this took place in Russia, I actually tried searching on some Russian databases.
That's the government put that away.
Yeah.
That's not a good look for them. That's gone. That's been erased.
So it was hard to find any specific information on the dolls other than what I have already. But
so hypothetically, again, because this happened in 2011, that man could have seen the film Mannequin. He could have seen the movie Life Size. And those could have definitely directly impacted him into making these human doll mummy things.
He's actually not the first one.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get into that later, but I feel... I just like picture it, and come to think of it, I do genuinely believe that because of the information I'm about to tell you, I think that they were probably working music boxes.
That's disgusting. Let's go.
He had taken pieces of the graves with him as well. This included plaques and pictures of the deceased he chose to bring home with him. One of the bodies still had a hospital tag attached, while another one contained a mummified human heart.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, lovely. Anatoly claims to have had no ill intent with these dolls. Basically, there was no necrophilia involved.
Well, at least there's that. That's like the bare minimum, though. Like, you're grave robbing, but at least he's not, violating the abusing the corpses.
Do you believe that? Without like the next information I'm going to give you, like from an outsider perspective, would you believe him if he told you that?
If he just said that?
Yeah.
I would want to believe it because I don't want to think otherwise. I would make myself believe it.
That is true. That is, yeah. We'll just stick with, he did not have sex with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stick with his version.
Instead, he viewed them as his children, save a few that were discarded in his garage due to him disliking them.
Gross.
He was like, yeah, I don't like you guys anymore. Time out.
He didn't put them back?
No, he kept them in his garage indefinitely.
Is it because Russia's cold that they just could be in there?
Well, so remember how he lives with his parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Again, they could be driving a Subaru Impreza and parking next to these mummified doll corpses. It's 2011. I cannot stress... For the listener at home, you cannot forget this entire time. This is not happening in the 1800s. This is 2011. Think about 2011. We were listening to Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO and TikTok by Kesha were charting in 2011, and this guy was making human dolls.
So he basically celebrated birthdays and holidays with them, and their birthdays would be the day that he made them into a doll, not their actual birthday.
Oh, yeah. How could you know? Well, I guess it's on the tombstone.
So Anatoly, even through one relationship, could never have children due to the severity of him being asexual.
Ah. I mean, he could.
Yeah?
Just like turkey baster it and jerk off and just like and get a baby. He could. He wasn't trying hard enough.
I feel like I just genuinely want to move on from that little statement there.
I'm just saying he didn't try hard. He didn't try hard enough.
Back to the doll making criminal and away from the turkey baster child.
I'm just saying he didn't try hard enough.
Fair. I mean, he's trying pretty hard now.
Well, not in the right way.
Yeah.
He skipped plan B and went straight to like. I'm gonna put that in an S maybe.
Maybe like
an R.
The pound symbol, the question mark.
Yeah, we've moved on to the secondary keyboard in terms of plans. He's just the greater than caret sign plan. That seems pretty drastic.
Oh jeez. He also tried to adopt, but the Russian government would not let him because him and his family, his parents, they were low income.
Oh.
He chose these children. And this is where your skepticism is going to kick in. Because he heard them begging for help from beyond the grave.
Well, that was all the parasite juice he was licking out of the puddles, for sure.
That's one theory, I guess.
The man's got an amoeba.
So their ages were a wide range of 3 to 25, and one of the dolls was with him for almost 9 years, which is longer than the child was alive.
Again, 9 years minus 20, that's 9/11. I know I keep bringing it back to 9/11, but you have to remember and always never forget 9/11. That's crazy. 9 years.
Well, it's
Where are his parents? His parents dropped the ball. There's one thing like having a basement son, but having a basement son that does this, like even Dahmer's family was like, hey, what's that smell?
So his parents were like, yeah, Anatoly's weird. He's an interesting character. We don't particularly...
This guy had Reddit. This guy had the internet. This guy was probably posting on like forums and shit. He could have been on like a doll making forum. Nobody knows. Like, oh, look at they made my family. And it's like, okay, cool, weird. And it's just corpses. And no one knows.
His parents, it's not something we're going to get very far into until later episodes, but his parents were just like, oh yeah, he just has a doll collection. It just smells bad because they're moldy. But from my understanding, rotting flesh, no matter how well you mummified them, which to be exact, he used salt and baking soda to preserve them.
Well.
Not very well. Yeah, there was a stench.
Yeah. Even jerky stinks, you know?
You leave chicken in the fridge too long for 3 days and you're like, oh, what's that smell?
Yeah, gross. That's nasty.
So there's obviously something with this family, but his whole thing was that he wanted to bring these children back to life when science found a way. So Anatoly was charged with 44 counts of desecration, also known as abuse of graves and dead bodies.
Yeah.
He went on record saying to the parents of the children, you abandoned your girls. I brought them home and warmed them up.
He only took girl babies, girl corpses. He's a girl dad.
He didn't want any boys.
He's a girl dad.
I mean, can you blame him?
He's not a stepfather. He's the father that stepped up. Also, I'm bringing this back
Dad,
again
come home.
Because it's 2011. He could have seen Futurama and seen all of the talking heads of the dead people in the glasses and been like, I'm just gonna wait for that.
This is odd to say the least. It gets so much weirder though when we examine what happened to Anatoly that caused his fascination with all things macabre.
I mean, I don't think it can get worse than this. So let's just get into it.
She doesn't think it can get worse than this.
Okay.
And when I say weird, I mean Tim Burton, Stephen King level weird. Cults, necromancy, black magic, that whole shindig.
Okay, let's go.
To clarify, the point of the season is not to investigate his crime. That's done. It's over, right?
Yeah.
We know what happened. But we're going to investigate his claim that he was haunted by the ghost of a dead little girl.
Okay.
Okay, that's all you got?
I mean, it's a little girl, like, just punter, like she's small. Like, what are you doing?
The ghost?
How are you letting this control your life? She's a little bitty, tiny. You're an
kick
adult man.
The ghost?
You're an adult man. That's a child.
Can you clarify for all of the listeners at home?
It's when you kick with the top of your foot gently.
No. I mean, like, how you punk kick a ghost. Because, you know, some of these
Yeah.
people listening, they might have ghosts in their lives that
Yeah.
they want to punk kick. So can you, like, just clarify?
Salt the top of your foot. You fucking gently kick it with the top of your foot. That's how you do it.
Gee, I wonder why Sam and Dean Winchester never thought about
Because
that.
they're not innovators. They play by the rules.
This all dates back to an incident that Anatoly claims happened at age 13. It involved an occult type ritual.
Okay. This is giving satanic panic, but let's go. Especially with his age, but like, let's go.
A little bit, I guess.
The timeline lines up.
So, to make it make sense,
Okay.
we've got to start back at the very beginning. Anatoly Moskvin was born on September 1st, 1966 in Nizhny Novgorod, which is a notably large city in Russia, the 5th largest to be exact.
Like 8 people.
Actually, over 1 million.
That's crazy. No.
Yeah.
Like, Russia's big, but you don't think about it as being, like, populated.
What parts of Russia are you thinking
I don't
about?
know, like the part that Napoleon tried to storm and couldn't.
I have questions. You're supposed to be the one with questions, and I have questions.
And you know what? Hey, I keep forgetting this is 20. Well, no, it's the 60s, but it's not like, again, I'm still thinking cows in 1800s. Let's go. It's the 60s. The Beatles are playing. Sure. Okay, let's go.
At the age of 13, when he was walking home from school, he was approached by a group of men wearing black suits. They were heading to the funeral of 11-year-old Natasha Petrova, who suspiciously died of accidental electrocution.
Sure. That is suspicious.
See, I had some questions with this one.
Yeah.
She was in a bath, and I guess she reached for a towel, and there was an exposed
Was a toaster
wire.
there instead? Yeah.
Yeah. I asked my dad, who's a pediatrician in New York, and he was like, actually, surprisingly, hundreds of toddlers die a year.
That's crazy. Well, she was too old for that, so that's on her. Wait, so he just went off with 3 strangers in cloaks?
Just wait for it.
Okay.
We'll get there.
I wouldn't, but I guess Russia didn't have stranger danger yet.
These men basically kidnapped Anatoly.
Okay.
They forced him to go with them and brought him to the funeral.
Okay.
And they had a very specific purpose in mind.
What?
The men forced him over to the coffin where little Natasha was being laid to rest and told Anatoly to kiss her on the forehead. Scared and confused, Anatoly refused and tried to escape from the large men. They forced his head down and wouldn't release him until he kissed her on the forehead 3 times.
Yeah, 3 sounds ritualistic. Let's go. When it's specific, it's ritualistic, but whatever. Let's. That's weird. Okay.
Natasha's mother then came over and handed him an apple as a reward.
His mom was there?
No, Natasha's mother.
Oh, Natasha. Sorry, the Russian names are blending in my head. An apple?
An apple.
Like a... Okay.
So picture you're a 12-year-old boy,
Yep.
right? And you
Pokemon cards in my pocket. Let's go. I'm 12.
So
Game Boy Color. I'm 12.
yeah. So you're forced to this funeral, right?
Yeah.
No Pokemon cards, no Game Boy.
That sucks.
Living in poverty in Russia.
That sucks.
And you're forced to basically kiss this girl, dead girl, on the forehead 3 times. And then you're given an apple. It's almost like positive reinforcement where you're like, yay, I did a good job.
Yeah, I'm getting rewarded for interacting with the corpse.
So that must do something to your brain.
Sure.
Just to put like a little bookmark there, even though it gets so much weirder.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep saying that because it never stops getting weirder.
Okay.
He was given a candle and told to let wax drip onto her blue dress. When he was finished with it, she grabbed his hand and placed a brass ring around his finger and then one on Natasha's. This entire time, the woman was holding onto his hand. They went to the graveyard together where Anatoly was sworn to silence and secrecy for 40 days. They would then throw clay on Natasha's coffin.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have gone back. It's 40 days. Tell my mom. Tell my dad. That's crazy. It's stupid. Also, like, the apple giving feels like a dowry.
That's an interesting point.
It feels like a payment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. Okay, let's go.
Based on this information, I suspect Natasha's mother might have been a part of some odd secret society that might have been a cult in nature.
I didn't think Russians had cults.
You'd be surprised. No one that he knew was at the funeral, only, and I quote, "A few dozen women and men in black robes came. All of them held burning candles and mournfully saying something not in Russian. It was ritualistic in nature."
It all feels hyper ritualistic, but also like made up. But let's go.
It all feels spooky. "You are now married to my daughter," is what Natasha's mother said, and in true corpse bride fashion, Anatoly became convinced that he was actually married to this dead little girl.
So much like Matthew McConaughey, he gets older, but she stays the same age. How does this work for them if he's also not a corpse? Feels like they should have or would have killed him too.
Huh?
Feels like they should have killed him too. If they're trying to... Also, what's the point? Like, okay, let's say hypothetically she died on accident. Why do this? If she actually accidentally electrocuted herself, why kidnap a boy and do a weird ritual? Why does it matter?
Actually, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
There are some cultural beliefs surrounding posthumous marriage.
Okay.
I mean, definitely not including the woman who recently
Not
got
here.
married to the ghost of a 500-year-old pirate and then soon after divorced him because he ghosted her.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he cheated, but very pirate behavior.
I think it got boring, honestly.
Okay, so you said what'd you say?
Posthumous marriage.
Posthumous marriage. We don't do that here. Till
Nope.
death do us part. That's all you promise.
That's the line.
That's the line. If you see me in the afterlife, I have no obligation to talk to you.
Deep line in the sand.
Yeah, no, I did my time here. And what you want to do after, that's between you and the other ghosts, but like I'm out. I'm good.
How wild would it be to see like two ghosts going at it?
Like, you're divorced. It doesn't matter. No ring on your ghost finger. That
Fair.
was the corporeal me. This is the ethereal me. This is different. This is the new me.
So anyways, after this, his claim was that Natasha haunted him in his sleep and sometimes waking hours.
Okay.
And all of this because of the ritual. And my question is, personally, what was the meaning of this ritual? And I think we need to deep dive into each detail
Sure.
to really figure out what is what.
Okay.
Are you down to go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah.
So the first overarching theme is, as I mentioned, posthumous marriage, which, for those of you who don't know or have never heard about it, is basically marriage after death, marriage to a corpse, a ghost, or the idea or figment of someone after they have died.
If I believe in ghosts, would you fuck a ghost? Would you fuck a ghost, or would you ghost a ghost?
All I can think about is scary movie.
I guess you have to put salt so you can make contact, so that might not be good. Anyway, hey, you're the one talking about posthumous marriage. I'm talking about consummating it. I don't know why you're looking at me weird.
So, to us in America, this is an odd concept, but certain cultures actually practice this
Okay.
in a very serious fashion.
Again, not here. Till death do us part. That's the line. That's how you get across it.
I'm honestly smelling some commitment issues here.
Yeah, well, no, I'm fine. But when I'm dead,
Can we get a wellness check on
I did what I
Griff,
did.
producers?
I
Please?
did what I did.
Get a wellness check.
I did my time. I put in my work, and now I'm clocking out.
I just hope you know I'm going to present all of this to... Do you have a therapist?
No.
Oh.
No.
Go to therapy, kids. This is what happened. Just kidding.
No, I'm good. I already did that.
I already
won
did that.
therapy already.
I'm going to show this to my therapist. My therapist is going to be like, I have questions, Kelsey. Sorry, I have questions, paranormal Sherlock Holmes.
She doesn't call you that?
So in China, they practice it to keep their cultural sanctity of marriage. It is their custom for the eldest child to marry first. If the eldest child is to die first, then there is something called ghost marriage to maintain the familial social order.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in Japan, a deceased person is to marry a doll. A photo of the deceased will be placed in a glass case besides the doll to represent the dead in the marriage. A man's ghost is said to haunt his family if he's not married by his death.
Oh, so there's like a fuck ton of ghosts in Japan then. They have a huge issue with the dudes not getting married right now. And in China.
Oh, ghosts in Japan?
Yeah.
That could be an entire podcast anthology.
All I'm saying is that if they're haunting until after they get married, I don't know, look up if you want to have a fun time, look up the movement of women not dating men because the men are trash in Japan. There's probably going to be, again, a very high uptick of ghosts over there if that's the case.
Good to know it's a universal thing.
Yeah, everyone's getting sick. Everyone's tired. Everyone's done. No one can, they're like, I got my bank account. I don't need you anymore.
I have rights.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have the right to peace out.
Peace out.
I'm removing myself from the narrative.
This marriage has to be maintained for 30 years until the man's spirit passes into the afterlife.
That's a really long time.
It's a really
Most
long
marriages
time.
don't even last 30 years.
In America?
Yeah.
Anywhere. Listen, I'll talk about ghosts all day, but like the dead endness of relationships nowadays, that just makes me sad and scared. I don't want to die
That's
alone.
what scares you. Okay. We all die alone.
I'll Shane Madej a demon. Hey there, demons, it's me, your boy. All rights owned by Watcher.
Just go kiss a corpse.
Please don't copyright me.
Just go kiss a corpse and eat an apple. That's all you got to do. You have ghost husband.
I'm concerned.
You're the one presenting me with these facts. I don't know why you're concerned. I had none of these ideas in my head until you put them there.
This is true. I wonder if marrying Natasha off had anything to do with the family's belief in rights to the afterlife.
What's that?
So basically, like in Japan, a man can't move on if he doesn't get married.
Okay.
Or in China, there's a certain social hierarchy or order of marriage. And I'm wondering if it seems like Natasha's mother marrying her off posthumous or after death.
It was like maybe like the Japan or the China thing, so the rest of her kids could get married.
Or the Japan thing, or just maybe saying, hey, I want my daughter to be able to pass into the afterlife no matter what. I have these specific...
Married? Why?
I don't know. It's
a lot of people die unmarried.
This is true, but we do have to face the facts that whatever weird religious practices that Natasha's family was doing was very, and I say this pun intended, unorthodox.
Okay.
Do you see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Move on from the pun.
Now let's go into the use of dripping wax onto her dress. This could be a slightly detached ancient Germanic practice.
Okay.
Where the use of wax in certain places, like the eyes, mouth, and other orifices, would help keep the spirit from leaving the body. In other folk magic burials, an elder woman would wave a candle over the body 3 times.
This is like make a ghost?
It's, settle the ghost in the afterlife, almost.
I thought they said to prevent it from going.
To prevent the spirit from leaving the body.
Yeah.
So in a lot of folk religion practices, the dead were very valuable to the people. They spoke of the future, they spoke of the past, and they informed them greatly.
Okay.
So to keep the ghost around would be to keep information around and to have a sense of security almost.
Whack. Again, let me go. I don't want to be here. Let me go.
But that's claiming or assuming that it is a folk magic practice.
Okay.
There are some very unique beliefs out there.
All right.
So after the candle is waved 3 times, a sin eater would be summoned, who was typically a poor man from the village, who would quite literally eat the deceased's sins by eating some sort of food off of the corpse, typically salt or bread.
Okay.
Finally, the funeral goers would exit the room and return backwards, repeating a hymn called the Rhyme of Saining. You want to hear it?
I mean, no.
Too bad.
Okay.
Thrice the torchy, thrice the salty, thrice the dishes tomb for lofty. These 3 times 3 ye must wave round the corpse until it sleep sound and wake name till heavens the soul gain. If ye want that soul to die, fetch the torch frae the ellery. Gin want that soul to live, Between the dishes place a sieve, and it shall have a fair, fair shrieve. So let's say that these funeral goers were singing in Gaelic, Old German, Greek, English, or any other language of people who would practice this sort of ritual. Anatoly would have recognized these languages as something not Russian.
Yeah. Okay.
He was only 13 at the time.
Deaf probably wasn't paying attention in his foreign language class.
He was only 12 or 13 at the time. It's highly unlikely that he would have recognized any non-common language being spoken or sung.
Yeah. By the time I was 12, I was trying to learn German, so I think I would be able to recognize it and not understand it.
The clay is also a very specific detail. All of my research on this fact has led to a dead end. However, I did discover that some Greek Jewish cultures believe that a funeral was a way to curse a living person.
Weird. Okay. Weird to make someone else's death about you, but go off.
Selfish.
Selfish. It's their day. It's their special day.
I'm just trying to sell out my funeral, man.
Whatever. I guess people say funerals are for the living, but I feel like not in the cursing them kind of way, but like whatever you want to do, I guess.
Usually this was through the use of dolls being placed in the coffin with the living victim's name inscribed on it. It is a known fact that traditions and customs do change over time, though, and evolve. Most of the actions during the funeral lining up with folk magic belief systems says a lot. So during the occult revivalism in Russia, which is when the Russian people were basically saying, "Nuh-uh, we don't like the Orthodox Church. We're not going to subscribe to it." They practiced a different religion, which was a combination of paganism, folk magic, and it combined a few different spiritual beliefs. Basically, it was a mutt of a practice.
That's just the 60s, though.
You're not wrong.
That's literally just hippies. That's literally just hippies burning sage and learning about Buddhism and free love or whatever.
But, like, think Rasputin.
Yeah. But it's also, like, I mean, that's not that far off from, like, again, in the 60s, that's when people got into, like, weed and tarot.
This is true.
So it must have been, like, equally as scary.
Rasputin.
He died, like, in the 10s, though, didn't he?
That's true. But he did bring a manner of occultism to Russia.
He did. He was a magic man, but I think he just mostly had, like, killer drugs. I think he just had a fuck ton of opium.
Oh, so many cultures believe that kissing a corpse on the forehead can pass the deceased's good or bad spirit onto you, causing the person who kissed the dead to become haunted or even possessed. So never kiss a corpse at a funeral.
Well, not 3 times.
That's a sure way to make it happen.
Any other number. We do 4. Does it still count as 3 because you did it 3 times? Or does it count as 4 because you went beyond the 3rd?
I think in this belief system, traditional practice, whatever it is, any amount of times can make you get possessed or
I mean,
haunted.
because like as a Southerner, I feel like I've seen a lot of people at funerals like kiss the corpse.
Why do you think the South is so haunted?
That's fair. South is spooky. You ever been to Savannah? That's just scary.
I forget that Georgia exists sometimes.
Oh, well, Savannah is like just full of ghosts. It's full of ghosts. It's the creepiest place I've ever been. Nothing has ever made me believe in anything other than walking around in Savannah, Georgia. I think the trees are haunted. They're
Field trip?
creepy. No, I'm never going again.
Field trip.
No.
So,
Also, there's a lot of sad art students there. Continue.
It is strongly advised at some funerals to never do this. So, do you think the act of kissing Natasha was what caused him to become haunted?
Nah, I think it was the apple.
The apple?
Yeah.
Like in Snow White, it was some sort of curse?
Yeah, the cursed apple. You said the thing about eating crackers off a body. Seems to line up with that. Well, I feel like in Russia it'd be easier to find crackers than an apple. But again, that was the 60s.
Do you think the apple tasted good?
No. No apple tastes good.
What?
Apples are gross.
I'm just writing down a list of things that we need to discuss.
I don't like apples.
I'm going to have a caring confrontation with
I
you.
don't like oranges either. Apples or oranges, same thing to me. I don't like them.
Hold on. We're going to fight. It seems like whatever allegedly happened to Anatoly and Natasha Petrova's funeral is mainly borrowed from folk magic belief systems.
Okay.
This could explain the strange language and hoods at the funeral. It's possible that they were singing in German, Greek, or Gaelic, maybe even Hebrew.
Who knows?
Says the Jew who doesn't speak Hebrew.
It could be anything.
Could be all of the above.
Who knows? There's no way of knowing.
After this, Anatoly claims that Natasha started to haunt him and her ghost wanted to teach him black magic.
How did an 11-year-old have black magic knowledge, but was dumb enough to electrocute herself in the bathtub?
So,
Make it make sense.
the math isn't mathing.
I'm just saying, she's some dark magic artificer, but can't take a bath. It's crazy. It's not, the math's not mathing. It's not adding up.
Listen, all I'm saying is that I don't think it was an accident.
Yeah. Oh, you think it was murder?
Murder?
You think it was murder?
I don't know. It just
Or do you
doesn't
think it was
add up to
like
me.
ritualistic sacrifice?
Oh.
Ooh.
I mean, you never know.
Ooh. Okay. But again, to what end? They just stuck some guy with a ghost. It doesn't make sense. If it's a black magic thing, it feels like they would take the guy and use him to some other sort of end. But if they just kind of let him go back, it's just like, all right, you got this ghost now. My job's done. Like, what's the point?
40 days. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
just
solid.
It's like, all right, I'm done here. You didn't do anything. My job's done. Goodbye.
Do you think if he told someone in the 40 days, he would have been dragged down to the deepest pits of hell?
No, I don't. I think those people would have been arrested for kidnapping a minor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And they'd probably be in jail and not him.
So to answer your initial question, though, a ghost of a little girl who, yes, died of accidental electrocution,
Sure.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
Yeah.
knowing black magic, it is a very common pagan belief system or Celtic belief system, druids, whatever you want to fall into line with that whole area, that the dead gained wisdom after dying.
Okay.
And time moves differently.
Yeah.
So she was dead for a day,
Uh-huh.
but that was like 10 years in afterworld.
Yeah. Well, now
life.
she's 21 and he's 13. So now the ghost got to go to jail.
Send the ghost to jail, all of them.
Ghost got to go to jail. Sorry.
Who are you gonna call?
I'll make the rules. The police. They'll make the rules. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200.
Leave the boy alone.
I need to look into this further because this is bizarre and disturbing and all of the above.
It's really weird. And again, it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up, but it's also Russia.
Yeah, that's fair.
And to be fair, there is a lot of informational holes because of things scrubbed off the internet.
Right. They're
And
very good at the internet over there.
other people have to have stories of ghosts contacting them in this manner.
I guess. Yeah. Sure. If you believe that.
I believe that.
If you believe it, it makes more sense for it to not be a one-off than it to be happening all the time, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Not to go into this right now, but I did grow up in a haunted house.
Oh, I hate that for you.
And I was terrified through most of my childhood.
I hate that for you.
So I did grow up seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling weird, bizarre, unusual things.
Horrifying.
Horrifying, yeah.
Horrifying.
That's the right word for it.
Okay. Well, you seem well adjusted, so.
On the outside.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. You guys got 3 days? It goes back to my childhood. So next week, we'll be investigating the most macabre part of this entire story. We want to dive into Anatoly's claim that Natasha haunted him after this experience. There are other people who have been haunted in a similarly macabre manner, so we will also be looking into those related cases. We as in me and you,
Sure.
and the stories I'm going to tell you
Okay.
that I already have on the back burner.
Oh, God. All right. Well, still don't believe in it, but I think that guy was just like a freak.
What's more concrete than seeing a ghost and having that used in court and it being admissible?
Does that happen? What the fuck? Okay.
Well, that's it for this week. We're going to close the case file for now, but see you next time if I haven't scared you off yet.